That was a very dirty and manipulative tactic that you tried to do to me this morning.
See how fast karma come back around? Dirty and manipulative. What you said?
Woo.
Dirty and manipulative tactics.
Man, hold on.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Stop. All right, so let me talk to the people, because since I'm blocked, I'm just going to talk to the people about this. So these types of people right here, you got to watch out for. And I'm going to go over why you got to watch out for these types of people. So this is the story. So originally, this man wanted this woman because she stitched some videos that she enjoyed, that she liked. So he came at her because she stitched stuff and said that it was disrespectful to his, whatever he's claiming. Now, he knows for one, I've made a lot of videos debunking all this stuff. And this is what happened. So now, if you look at these responses, I hit him up after every response back. This one right here, he kind of like went a little crazy. He was doing this little stuff. He couldn't even get it together. But this is what happened next. So right before, or right on that response, he put he's going to block me. Interesting. Right before I did my response in that picture I showed you. But here's the funny thing. I didn't want to do this because the pastor said something, so I just wanted to add what I said to the pastor. But here we go. This was my response in between where it said he was going to block me again. So if you look here, he was still conversating with me after that reply. Before I got my response video in, I didn't catch it in time because he blocked me before I did that. But what he was saying was, let's do another debate and pick another topic. Before I dropped that last video, when I dropped that last video, right before that, I was blocked. So when he said he was going to block me, was just a stunt. So now, let's get into some meat and potatoes. So if he is mad at a woman and was going at a woman because they had something to say, all I was doing was hitting him with some facts. And then he had so much to say that he went and duetted his own video with White Eyes. It's almost like I was beating colonizer out of him or something. But speaking of that, now this is the reason you shouldn't trust these type of people, especially if you think some alternate history. I'm about to show you why right now. So now this will make everything weird. They're saying, do your family research. So right here, he's showing his family. Next. So now, this is where he gets down to it. So you can pretty much make this out. Here you go. So right here in 1870, it says the family homes in Searcy Phillips, Arkansas. Next. In 1880, it's Lake Phillips. And look, dwelling number 283 should be a clue. Dwelling number. What is Lake Phillips? I'm glad you asked. You can go to Lake Phillips, Arkansas history. And in this history, it says, after the Civil War, freed slaves continued to work on the plantations as tenant farmers. Who were these slaves? I know you're wondering. Let's search up Lake Phillips, Arkansas Indians. So right here, it says, Phillips County was a cotton-producing area containing large plantations with many African-American slaves. In 1840 census, only 905 of the 3,547 people living in Phillips County were slaves. But by 1860, there was 8,941 out of 14,000 were slaves. So who were these slaves? Let's go up to Trail of Tears, Native American removal routes. So this is telling you in 1838, there was only 450 Chickasaws, and they were emigrating, which means they were leaving, right? And they didn't want any help. Now ask yourself this question. If Indians and African Americans were virtually the same, why is it doing a shift and saying Indians or Chickasaws were moving out, but they had African American slaves there? They're not the same people. How do I know this? Well, right there. It's saying that he went and stopped the Chickasaws and asked them if they needed any help. So they weren't enslaving the Chickasaws, which were Native Americans or Indians, but they were enslaving African Americans. But it's only African Americans now because the name changed, because the other names were offensive. Last but not least, slaveholders. and 1870 African Americans. And bonus tip, if you are from this area, you can actually look up the slaveholders from there, and if you have the surnames that are kind of English last names. So again, not exactly sure what's wrong, but these types of people don't do any research whatsoever, because that was a plantation. Plantations normally had African American slaves, so it's kind of weird how he was running from me, but wanted to go at a woman. This is why you got to watch these people. Ain't doing no good for the black community. Peace.